Stories written in the stars, it has been a subject of many conversations and public statements against astrology that signs in the zodiacal circle don't fit constellations in the sky that carry the same name. To understand the word of the stars themselves, we must realize that our chart wheel is nothing but a mathematical presentation defined by seasons here, on planet Earth, and not by constellations that gave the primal stamp to the world of astrology thousands of years ago. The influence of constellations is a bit different than that of zodiac signs seen in your chart wheel, and we are here to explain the difference. Signs in astrology: each sign represents an equal part of the zodiacal circle, each comprising of 30 degrees and standing as one of the 12 rocks that build our chart wheel. They show the flow-through quality and element, the synchronicity and the organization of the universe in their setting. Each cardinal sign, Aries, Cancer, Libra and Capricorn, starts with the beginning of one of 4 seasons seen here, on Earth. Aries begins with the first moment of spring, and is defined by the moment when the Sun crosses a projected point on the ring that hugs the Earth where it is cut by the ecliptic flat. This means that there are 3 signs to define each season and 4 quadrants of the zodiacal circle describe our spring, summer, winter and fall. This is why each cardinal sign carries such a strong energy of change, speed, and new beginnings, and why each mutable sign is changeable, unstable, like the season weakening just before the next one begins. We might say that fixed signs stand as pillars of manifestation, each representing a season in full bloom, unchangeable, strong and truly powerful, with their elements connected to the general feel. The spring will then speak of the element of earth, summer will stand for water, autumn for fire and winter for the cool breeze of air in Aquarius. Constellations named the same, it is important to understand that stars and constellations stood as grounds for many stories by the fire years and years ago, and probably got their names before astrology came to exist. While first attempts to predict the fate of the world may rest with the first glimpse of consciousness, tools seen in astrology we know today came to life only after the structure was already set. The first astrologers used only the sun and the moon, lacking the mathematical and scientific foundation to go any further. At some point in our known history, the precession of the equinox set the Earth in such a position in relation to the center of the Milky Way, that the human race saw current constellations in different places than where they are seen today. This means that a couple of thousands of years ago, constellations named the Ram, the Bull, the Twins, and similar to other members of the zodiacal circle, projected somewhere close to the same position where matching signs in our wheel are seen right now. Although dimensions of their projections were never equal to 30 degrees, somehow important figures in science back then thought this wasn't really relevant for the purpose of naming them, or for future astronomical or astrological research. Constellations in our lives: all constellations carry historical significance as a guiding light towards inspiration. Myths we know of, and those we've never heard, find their basis in the stars and serve as stories that we all relate to when we are growing up. There are fairy tales that touch us more than others, and while we might discuss the influence The Little Mermaid had on our entire course of life, their impact is vast and much larger than we are aware of. Entire human nature is told, foretold, and written somewhere, and all stories that were ever spoken or heard are bits and pieces of the kingdom of Neptune. Just like so many mysteries of the ocean are yet to be unveiled, the influence of these stories is something we can only touch with our awareness, and time is yet to tell if we are all puppets in the show of Neptune or true creators of our own fate. As we observe the constellation of Taurus, or that of the Ram, Gemini, Ophiuchus or Scorpio, we cannot miss the significance of Cassiopeia, Andromeda, Hercules, a big, scary whale, or the fact that Libra isn't a constellation at all. Each one of known constellations carries one, two, or more stories that left their mark in history, and while we may be guided by Greek or Roman mythology to understand them better, we can also see that Pinocchio and Peter Pan have something to say too. In a way, we have created new ways the influence of fixed stars might shape our lives in every decade of our human awareness, but the greatest impact is always recognized in tales that survived ages, passing on from one generation to another, as a constant foundation for the world we recognize today. How do we connect? Every person on our planet is already connected to the network of all stories that ever were, that are, and all those stories that will be. We are to question our connection, for that would be like questioning Neptune and our faith in its entirety, but to learn where we are in this system and what we can do to honor our true nature. The ease comes when we are recognized for who we are, with all our weaknesses and strengths, for this is the moment when we receive the ultimate power to be and to create, living out the best we were born with in this lifetime. If your ascendant, its ruler, the moon or any personal and significant point in your chart touches the star from some distant constellation, you should learn about its stories and see if you relate. Some of us will touch the belt of the Orion and grow to be 7 feet tall. Others will touch Andromeda's hair and be beautiful but confined to a life of difficult relationships. It is among those tales that touched the stars that you will find the story that truly touched you, and this will open doors to knowledge and allow you to choose the best version of your own myth, or at least bless you with excitement when thinking about things you cannot change. In the end, we are all looking for peace and a resting place that heals our hearts. And is there a better way to heal than to understand and see ourselves as a part of a whole, where divine love will never again let us feel lonely?